Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Fullerton, California, an inclusive community dedicated to building a better world. I'm Reverend Robert Blair. Whoever you are, however you identify, whether you join us in person or online, you are welcome here. UUCF acknowledges that this land is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman, Kizh, and Tongva peoples. May we have the humility and courage to help restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with indigenous peoples and indigenous communities on the earth. We have a lot of announcements. First of all, no meditation class for today. So there was just no one to fill that position, so no meditation today, and we'll let you know when the next one is later on. Be sure to RSVP for our fellowship dinner, scheduled for next Saturday. It is at 6 o'clock. And it is going to be a lot of fun. A sheet will be passed around the sanctuary during the service. I think this is it, right here. So, oh, is it right there? Okay, I have like 3 different boards. I am busy this morning, as you can tell. Okay, so just sign up for there, or you can email uucfboard at uufullerton.org and let us know that you are coming. And we hope to see you there for a lovely dinner, some entertainment, some magic, maybe some juggling as well. So we hope you'll be there for that. This month, our improv workshop meets on a special night. Write this down. It is on Wednesday, okay? Wednesday, April 30th. Can you believe it's almost May? Unbelievable. We welcome Pastor Joshua Berg of Pacific Unitarian Universalist Church, who will be using techniques of improvisational theater and narrative medicine to explore the work of pastoral care through the lens of cultural humility. All are welcome. No experience is necessary. On Sunday, May 18th, the Fullerton Crop Hunger Walk returns. Our UUCF team leaders are Shelby Harris and Claudia Triffa. They can help you sign up to walk, or I'm supposed to hold this up for you. Maybe, that would be better to put it up on the slide instead of having me just pin it to my shirt throughout the rest of it. Very interactive here. So we hope that you will sign up to walk. If you have any questions on that, you can talk to Amy during the week. Now let's welcome Rebecca Duell Gallegos for our final pledge drive update.
Good morning. I am Rebecca Duell Gallegos, and I am happy to be here with you for this final week of our UUCF Pledge Drive. I will get right to our update this morning. So Josie, if you could bring up the thermometer. As you can see, in just the last week, we have managed to raise that number from halfway to something much closer to our goal. We are now at $186,700 in pledges. We are so close to that $200,000 mark, folks. And we on the Pledge Committee are so grateful to all of you for putting in the time, for turning in those pledge cards and donating online, for supporting this community as we try to grow and adapt to what I think we can all agree is a rapidly changing future. Every morning, I choose my coffee mug based on my mood, and this morning I chose this one. This is my Elizabeth Warren Persist mug. I like to use this mug when I need a little boost, a reminder that whatever is going on in my life or with my family or in the wider world, I can handle it if I just keep going. And we need to keep going, folks. When every day seems to bring a new injustice, when every headline is more horrifying than the last, when it comes to the current political moment, it is good to remember that we are not alone in dealing with it. That in fact, we have an entire community committed to uplifting each other and to making the world a better place. Together, we can persist and help each other keep going for this community and its future and the work that we do. UUCF is important. We are important. So let's get over that line for ourselves and this community and what we can bring to it. If you haven't pledged yet, or you're on the fence about how much you want to pledge this year, this is the time to make that commitment. As a reminder, you can pledge online at uufullerton.org/pledge, or you can ask Leslie Mahaffey or Kathy Frickert for a paper packet so you can fill out a pledge card. And as the Reverend mentioned, we will be celebrating our persistence and our inevitable success this coming Saturday, May 3rd, with our annual fellowship dinner catered by Blake's Barbecue. Nobody needs to bring anything. The sign-up sheets will be going around today for you to RSVP. It'll start at 6 in the social hall over there, and entertainment will be provided by our own Reverend Rob, and as has been confirmed this week, by my personal favorite local music group, Cordially Yours. So we cannot wait to see you there. Thank you.
And the significance of having one of our youth hold the money amount is really, really profound. Remember that. It is our future, our community. And we cannot wait to tell you next week that we have gone toward the finish line of maybe 200,000. Past our goal. Sorry. Past our goal. That's right. That's right. I want to introduce to you our special guest speaker, Najeeda Syeed. She was my professor at Claremont School of Theology in 2000. It was a while back. I think it was 2015, 2016. Najeeda Syeed is an El Hebrew endowed professor of interfaith studies, Augsburg University. She is a professor, executive director, and a longtime advocate for interfaith peacemaking in Southern California and across the world, and across the country and the world. She is practicing mediator as well as brings practical experiences to the table in her work. Welcome, Ms. Najeeda Syeed. We'll be sharing our joys and sorrows a little bit later in the service, so if you are in the sanctuary and you'd like to share, the slips are located on the back. Peter's holding them up as well. They're the pink slips, so please get those filled out, and we'll be accepting those up to the end of Time for All Ages. If you're joining us online, I invite you to post your joy or sorrow in the comments section, as well as saying hello. And now, let's take about 1 to 2 minutes to greet each other, let people know they matter and that they are loved.
Good morning, everybody. It's so great to hear a lively room. For those who don't know me, my name is Christine Araoka, and I'm a pianist, composer, and educator. I'm so excited to have service with you all. For our opening hymn, we'll be singing hymn number 121, We'll Build a Land. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing.
The spark of love. The spark of love resides in us all. We are free to act from it or not. If we choose love, how will love shape what we do? If we choose love, how will it improve our actions? If we choose love, how will I treat those around me? If I choose love, will I find it when life gets hard? If I choose love, will you also choose love? Love begets love, and it is love that lights our chalice. I invite Najeeda Syeed to light the chalice this morning. Please join me in saying our unison affirmation together. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. Thus do we covenant with one another. It is our custom to provide donations of non-perishable food and personal care items to Pathways of Hope, a local food bank. As the children come forward, they are asked to collect the donations placed at the end of the rows. And now the children are invited to come forward for a time for all ages.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Hello. Oh, it's on. Hello. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. I love it. 2 weeks in a row, our bucket is overflowing. Excellent. All right. Good morning. My name is Megan Watson. I am the teen coordinator here at UUCF, and this is Joy Ellis, our elementary coordinator. And I want to see if my kiddos up front know there was a very special day last Tuesday. Anyone know what it was? What was it? Oh, thank goodness. I asked my students in class on Tuesday, and they're like, Taco Tuesday. Oh, no. I'm so glad. It was Taco Tuesday, but it also was Earth Day. So our story today is related to that. Did you know, Michael, did you know that there are tiny, tiny creatures living inside of you? Oh, you did. Okay, cool. Not new information. That's true. That's true. So we all have trillions of these tiny little guys living inside of us called microbes, and they are so tiny that to them, you and your body are like a planet. To my microbes, I'm Planet Megan. You're Planet Michael, Planet Josie, et cetera, all of us, different planets. Microbes are so tiny that you can't see them, you can't hear them, you can't feel them move. One microbe by itself. What's up, Josie? Oh, I like that. Yes, there's all these planets hanging out in here. We are a giant universe. One microbe all by itself can't do too much. They live in your planet body and depend on you for their entire lives. But your planet body also depends on them to stay healthy. If the microbes are out of balance, you are more likely to get sick. Have you guys ever been sick? Have you ever, thrown up? Oh, yeah, no fun. Perfect immune systems, excellent, I love it. So, when we have things like fevers or we're throwing up, it might be because the microbes in our planet body got out of balance. Some microbes protect you from bacteria that can make you sick. Other microbes help you digest your food. In general, if you're healthy, you can thank all those trillions of tiny microbes working together to keep things in balance. So our bodies are like a planet, but our planet, Earth, is also like a body. And people are like one kind of microbe. I'm Microbe Megan, Microbe Michael, Microbe Andrew, Microbe Ryan. Most of the time, our planet Earth is so big, and we are so tiny compared to it, that we don't even notice or remember how much we depend on our planet for the air we breathe, for the food we eat, for the water we drink. But just like the microbes in our body, our planet Earth also depends on us. Just like your body depends on the microbes to stay balanced and healthy, our planet Earth depends on people to stay balanced. You probably know, probably heard in school, that right now our planet Earth, not super healthy, has some problems. And this is because people have been a little out of balance. Sometimes this feels like a really big problem for one little microbe like me. Our planet Earth is so big, but together with lots of other people, I'm working to get planet Earth back in balance. I do little things like biking or walking to church instead of driving. I do medium things like getting involved in political actions or talking to people. And sometimes I get to be part of big things. Our planet Earth is sick, and each of us are just tiny microbes. But working together, we can push the balance of our planet back towards healthy. All right, we're gonna go to our classrooms. We got some fun activities for our kiddos and our teens. Let's go.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to create a brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to create a brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
Hi, I think you all know who I am. My name is Marco Umbriaco, and this morning I want to share with you why my membership to UUCF is so vital to me. It's a personal goal of mine to give financial support, and I find it essential to give in service with my time because I want to support the collective mission we all share. My involvement with this Unitarian Universalist community has been a personal growth and self-discovery journey. UUCF, a haven for me, has also been a place of profound learning, fostering critical thought and meaningful expression. My fellowship with all of you fosters a sense of belonging and acceptance, and I am outwardly proud of this community, which welcomes diverse perspectives and respects them. UUCF's nurturing environment encourages open dialogue, allowing me to explore beliefs and values without fear of punitive judgment. I found a supportive community that stands together for justice, equity, and compassion. This shared commitment to upholding our values in the face of challenges reinforces my belief that I can make a positive difference in the world with all of you, and inspires and it motivates me to contribute more. My pledge is carefully budgeted, and I think of it as I do with any subscription so that I can give UUCF as much financial support as possible each year. I want to preserve this sanctuary with learning and music because I understand many more people are looking for a safe place and longing for a community like this. And no matter how uncertain these times are, or how much anxiety I feel, in here, I feel safe. My financial support, together with yours, allows us to be here together. Being with all of you has given me the tools to navigate this turbulent times. I am amazed by what I have learned by being here. Each time we come together, I'm reminded of the power of love and solidarity to bring about change. I am proud to be part of this inclusive and inspiring community, and I am deeply grateful for the support and inclusion I have received from all of you. Your acceptance and support have made a significant difference in my life, and I am thankful for the opportunity to give back to this community. And in short, we are greater together than I am alone.
Thank you so much, Mark. And thank you for all you've done as the president of the board. Your amazing leadership. Thank you. Those joining us online are invited to share a joy or sorrow in caps. I've got Facebook up and also got Zoom up. So if you have any joys or concerns or sorrows, please let us know. And Mark will actually light a candle for those sharing online, and those in the sanctuary will be invited to come forward to light your own candle. We begin by lighting a candle for all our concerns, for the larger world, our wish for peace and justice, our hopes for the children who will inherit this planet. May this candle represent all these wishes and calls to action that are more than we could possibly articulate in this space. And now let us share the personal joys and sorrows in our lives. Megan Watson has a joy. Love, Fullerton Day of volunteering was amazing yesterday, even though we got soaked by rain. Peter Warner has a sorrow. We need to lift up the extended family of Pope Francis, who passed away, and for the conclave that will continue over the next couple of days or weeks. Peter also wants us to lift up in prayer wisdom that a new pope could be selected. Jocelyn Shiramoto, a sorrow. I grieve the loss of Pope Francis, a global spiritual leader whose legacy of compassion, humility, and advocacy for social justice resonates deeply across faith traditions. May we honor his memory by striving for unity and love. Thank you, Joyce. Peter also has a prayer and a sorrow. My mom's group home, her roommate, John, went to West Anaheim Hospital for psychiatric help. And also, he wants to lift up Irene, who is having problems with her caregiver. Finally, a joy this morning. I got a text this morning that made me smile. I hope it will make you smile as well. Christine, right over there, and the board have come to an agreement that she will be joining us for another year. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Cute.
We now light one more candle for all those joys and concerns and sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. And now please join in saying the affirmation. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all. Let us move into the spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer. You may close your eyes, take a deep breath, whatever helps you find your center. This is In These Days of Fire, a prayer written on October 24th, 2007, during California's Santiago fire, which burned 20,000 acres that night. Let us pause and breathe and be in touch with a sacred presence that permeates all, including this room now. Web of all, of life, death, and renewal, we open our hearts to those who suffer as a result of the wildfires. We have seen on our screens and TVs, in our newspapers, outside our windows, the pillars of smoke rising by day, flames tall as buildings illuminating the sky at night. Landscapes, once familiar, have turned alien. The sun has turned red as blood, the earth and the plants turned black, the air filled with ash that drifts like snow. We have lost our homes and ecosystems, human and animal life, and our sense of stability. We have been reminded that all of life's creatures must one day succumb to death's patient insistence. Spirit of life and love, in testing times like those we stand in awe of before the mystery. In these days of fire, some of us have fled our homes in great haste, and some of us as quickly have opened our homes to the stranger. We have seen death sweep the landscape, but we know life will renew itself, that the forests will rise again, ecosystems will fill with life, and future homes will fill with love. We know life renews itself even now, as human good springs up in the face of disaster and people reach out to one another within neighborhoods and across the continent, serving one another across every difference. Web of all, of life, death, and renewal through all the seasons of our lives. May we find the courage to reach out in sympathy or need. May we feel within us the life force that stirs under the embers waiting to be reborn. May the compassion and care we have found amidst the flames carry us now and remain with us as we move into those times and places where we might more easily close our hearts. We pray for strength. And finally, we pray for gratitude for all that is not lost and all that we can rebuild. May we be the rebuilders. It's not often that you hear a song and within the first two measures, there's just a smile that overcomes everything. He taught us to look for the helpers. And that is a key theme for us today. Good Neighbors by Christine Slocum. Quote, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassion and compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King. It was one of those days waiting at a red light. I was mentally rehearsing every scheduled second of my evening when I saw a speeding car approach. It crashed into the car in front of me, bounced into another car whose airbags deployed, and at the same high rate of speed, disappeared into the distance. I knew all of my plans were going out the window. When I stopped to check on the driver of the hit car, though, I found that I wasn't alone. Other witnesses had pulled over. They, too, wanted to help. People at the corner business came out to offer aid, and gentlemen living on another corner approached to make sure everybody was okay. All of us, white, brown, black, had been strangers until this moment, a situation that felt like it belonged to all of us, and so we were being the help until help arrived. By the way, it turns out that no one was hurt. As shocking as the event was, the collective decision to help didn't surprise me. Buffalo calls itself the city of good neighbors. I think it's less description and more self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a rallying cry in times of struggle. Our mutual aid is both organized, like our shovel brigade, and disorganized, but still effective. As often as I've been a helper, I've also been the helped. Here, as in many places, people make a conscious decision that when something happens, they will respond. As a Unitarian Universalist, I believe that this is what living a love-centered faith is about. I found that the more I interact with my neighbors, the more I acquire a sense of belonging to and ownership of my community. Our mutual aid reveals how dependent we are on each other. I believe that noticing things that need our attention and then stopping to help is a habit, a communal habit. Your actions make a difference, and other people's actions make a difference for you. May all of us choose each other, choose our communities, and decide to show up. When crisis arrives, may we respond with caring and calm and clarity. May we root our actions in love when we show up for our neighbors. May we know that we are never completely alone. And now I would like to introduce you one of my former professors at Claremont School of Theology, but also a wonderful neighbor in Southern California and across this country. This is Najeeda Syeed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Checking in? This is a moment when we have to really check in with ourselves and check in with each other. Check in with the strong ones, check in with the people that are not showing up, because there is so much in this world that needs our attention and our love. So today I decided to share with you really a personal story, and to couch it in some reflections that are spiritual and maybe a little bit academic. I am a professor, Somehow they gave a lawyer an endowed chair in religious studies. How that happened, I don't know, but it means you can really do anything you want. So, and it's so lovely to be here with Pastor Rob. He just asked me if I remembered him when he was a student. Tell me, would you not remember this person in your classroom? For sure. What an incredible and beautiful spirit, and thank you so much for inviting me today. So the story I wanted to share with you was the story of Altadena, which has burned in the fires. I lived in close to Eden Canyon, within about 1.5 miles for 15 years, and my daughter spends half her time, half her life in Altadena, and I now live in Eagle Rock. And so for us, that community was also along Lake Street, the community that held one of the places that we worshiped. For those of you who do not know, Lake Street in Altadena was the second largest concentration of Black-owned businesses in LA County, because both home ownership and business and other forms of enterprise were often redlined and kept Black families out in other parts of the county. So for us, that living so close, living in that area and worshiping in a mosque that completely burned down in the fires, a historically African-American led mosque in Altadena, Masjid Taqwa, which means God awareness or God consciousness in English. The mosque completely burned down, as did, we now know, across the city of LA, including Altadena, really dozens of houses of worship were affected. So that was the one mosque that we know of. There was a synagogue, and there are many other spaces that burned down, including in the Palisades. So I wanted to reflect a little bit on what does that mean for us as people of moral, ethical, and for some of us, faith persuasions. So it began for us, or for me, one of the central tenets of being a Muslim is called rahma. Rahma means compassion. And like Arabic and Hebrew, which are often connected, it comes from the triliteral root rahama, which both in Hebrew and Arabic means the womb. And so I share that with you because this notion of a kind of compassion that isn't just compassion that we stop by someone's house, but it's a kind of compassion that envelops, that holds, that incubates life. And that's such a beautiful metaphor. And the Quran tells us that the mission of Prophet Muhammad, one of the central prophets of Islam, was to be a source of compassion for all humankind, not just for Muslims, not just for people in his time 1400 years ago, but for all time and for all people. So for us, losing a house of worship meant, how do we show up for not just ourselves, but for each other? So some of the things that we learned about how we respond to such a tragedy was that religion gets opened up in its definition. So often people think of religion or they talk about faith and we use the word churches. What we found by having so many spaces that were impacted, so many communities, it visibilized communities like a Buddhist center in Pasadena, whose neighbors came and helped to keep it from burning down. So it meant that a pet store that was, in which many of those who were inhabitants, non-human inhabitants, that a Buddhist set of monks came and made prayers for the animals who were lost. It meant that when we were trying to figure out how do we help faith communities, that there are particular religious objects in Jewish communities, congregations, and homes that are not as readily available as many Christian-centric holy objects. So gathering together those objects to share in the new homes that people were in, if they were Jewish, or the newer congregational spaces. So it opened up the definition of religion to understand that we are a pluralistic society, that we are a multi-religious society, and it brought to light how religion and spirituality and even sacred objects. There was another story of a garden store in the Altadena, Pasadena area that said, if you have a sacred object in your lawn, it could be a Buddha statue, it could be something else that's sacred, and it's in your lawn, whether you're in your home or house of worship, come, we will take care of those objects in our garden store until you're ready to restore your space. So that's an incredible demonstration of the sacred and its iterations in so many ways. The other thing that we found was that secular and religious communities collaborated so effectively for relief. So places, I talk about sacred spaces of parking lots in Altadena and Pasadena. Parking lots all over those communities became spaces for mutual aid. We made sacred the space of parking lots. They could have been connected to a church or a mosque or a temple, but they became sacred spaces where until this day, people are receiving relief, organizing regularly. The coffee shop that I go to still has a farmer's market exclusively for families that suffered losses. So this idea of secular and religious communities collaborating together, that in addition to just houses of worship, places and spaces, whether they were secular or religious, became places of collaboration. So I mentioned to you a pet store, I mentioned to you a garden store, thinking about all of the different spaces, whether they were business or government or community, that are secular, that became spaces that were made sacred. The other thing that we learned is that there is a sacred self in all of us, whether we have a religious identity or not. And one of the beautiful hashtags that came out to celebrate Pasadena and Altadena communities was Dina Heals, or Dina meaning the two Dinas. And it didn't matter if you were Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist. Suddenly there was a collective sacred self and binding of communities together where a geographic location became a sacred identity. And I dare say we live in a moment where our country could benefit and think about what are those ties of neighborliness that whether Fred Rogers or other thought about, that bring us together. So we don't have to just identify with our own community, but is there a way and a space? You're building a sacred community here. In this moment, you're expressing empathy and love for one another. So is there a way for us to think about in this moment in our nation, is there a collective sacred self that we could all join and combine? One of the beautiful sayings of Prophet Muhammad is that when one part of our community gets hurt, he talks about the community as a body, and that when one part of that body hurts, the whole body feels the pain. So when we are thinking in the way, I use sacred self instead of just sacred community because it's an embodied empathy. It's an empathy in which you experience the pain of someone else in your own body, and it motivates you to change. So within the Muslim tradition, part of our empathy isn't just a doctrine. It's not just a belief. It's not just something that I say that you should go care for your neighbor, but it's an embodied impetus in your body that responds to the pain of another and says, how do I show up for you? How do I come and be with you? So that's part of that sacred self, however your point of origin is, whether it's a moral origin, a religious origin, a civic origin, thinking about a collective sacred self. And I dare say we live in a moment where empathy is being weaponized as a problem for us as a country. And I say, why not celebrate it as a strength? And in fact, why not build communities of empathy? So think about from your own spiritual, historical, family, whatever tradition you really engage in, what does empathy mean? But even more so, what does empathy look like? Not just as a concept, but how does it translate into a sacred self that is collective? The other thing that I thought was really beautiful that really changed, and I've written about this, you can Google it, it's with Religion News Services, was right after, as the fires happened, my daughter, who is 17 and volunteering at a hospital right now, she'll be 17 in about a month and a half, was 16 at the time. She was out of school for a month because her school district, Pasadena Unified School District, out of something like 13,000 students, 10,000 students were in the fire zone. The press conferences during the fire, the superintendent said things like, we don't know where some of our teachers and staff and faculty and students are. We don't actually know where they are at this moment because of the fires. So the impact on her high school, on her public high school, was tremendous. And it was incredible to see the way in which Gen Z began to organize. And they used social media to show empathy and raise money. So here are 15, 14, 16-year-old kids posting all the GoFundMes for their friends because there were no other ways to show and raise money and support people. So I was really moved by how one of the ways that policymakers took a while to catch up with, some of us took a while to catch up with the relief effort. Immediately, these kids, my daughter was out of school for a month because of the fires, because her school was not, in this case, she was able to go back. There are schools in Pasadena where students are not able to go back to the buildings that originally housed their schools. But Gen Z led with organizing. One day there was a pop-up in a hairdressing salon in Pasadena, started by teens that were raising not just funds, but gathering and organizing and putting things together. And one thing that really struck me is there is this idea that if you're in Gen Z, that you're gonna organize and you wanna take a picture of yourself doing the work and the selfie. And my daughter said, no way, Mom. Don't take any pictures of me doing the work, because this is about us showing up for each other. So they actually did not want pictures of themselves, but they wanted pictures of the work. So I wanted to share that with you because I think sometimes we learn from younger generations in ways that are profound, and I wanted to highlight that for you. And I know that we have to move towards our closing, but one other concept I wanted to talk about is non-othering. Very often in religious interpretation of our texts, in our talking around religion, we say that we need to be there to show up for the other. We need to be there to care for the other. We need to have a humanitarian impact for the other. And I want to challenge us to go and think about what in our spiritual, religious, moral, and ethical orientations gives us the concept that maybe there is no other. Maybe to think about Buddhist notions of interbeing, and in their sense, when we talk about Buddhist interbeing includes non-humans, that maybe part of the problem is that we start with the notion of charity and showing up for the other. What if we non-other each other? And maybe think about a universal, this is a very apropos conversation, being in a space that has universal as part of its articulation and description. What if we think about a universal humanitarianism and neighborliness that isn't predicated on having to overcome the notion of the other, that we non-other one another? And some of the teachings from my own tradition, and I'll end with this, some of the teachings from my own tradition is that as a Muslim, Prophet Muhammad said, do not go to sleep if your neighbor is hungry. So I should not be in bed if my neighbor is hungry. Maybe the neighbor is living in a tent, maybe the neighbor is living in a high-rise, but this notion of the neighborliness, a universal impetus for humanitarianism, no matter who that person is. So this idea of showing up for one another, what are the teachings, the practices, rituals, ways in which we can be much more in community so that we non-other the other and there is no other and we are that sacred self? One of the things that was profoundly a great lesson in having worked on issues with our unhoused neighbors in Los Angeles, we rehoused probably up to 90,000 people across both fires within weeks. And all of that was not done by government aid. Some of it may have been, but a lot of it was done by people. I mean, there was a point when you went to Eagle Rock or you would go to parts of Pasadena where everyone had someone else from the fires in their house. So I just wanted to share with us that in this moment, we were able to come through, and we have so much more work to do, that we were able to show up for each other, whether it was a mosque, whether it was the Altadena Library that has done incredible relief work, to think about institutions in which the mutual aid can take on a scope that is much bigger than any of us could have imagined. Think about if we were to rehouse 60,000 unhoused neighbors across LA County. What would that look like? And it is possible. We did it. And in this moment when empathy for one another is in a deficit or is being attacked, I encourage all of us to think about, I think about it as a Muslim, I shared some of the teachings with you. Think about how you show up and build a collective sacred self that leaves no one behind, because if someone is left behind, that means I am also left behind. Thank you, and I greet you with the greeting of Islam, which is Salam Alaikum, peace be with you today.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. At UUCF, we embrace the possibility of a world filled with peace, acceptance, justice, love, and joy. We're going to put in there empathy. By our financial commitment, we help this congregation through its maintenance, its mission, ministries, and make those possibilities real in a challenging world. A basket is being brought around the sanctuary, or there are payment options. They are up on the screen with Venmo, looks like PayPal, and you can do it the old-fashioned way with checks and a P.O. box as well. Whatever you are able to give is received with gratitude. We thank you for your commitment and generosity. And now it's time for our closing hymn.
I just wanted to say a word about our two hymns that we sang today. They were so meaningful to me because as music director for over 20 years, at one time, I was able to attend UU Musicians Networking conferences. At these conferences, I met Carolyn McDade, who wrote the words to We'll Build a Land, and Pete Mayer, who also wrote the words to Blue Boat Home. And I have his autograph on my copy of it in Singing the Journey. So please stand as you're willing and able as we sing Blue Boat Home.
I've been
Today, our caring listener is Debbie Langenbacher. You can speak with her after the service if you have any concerns or would simply like someone to talk to, and trust that what you share is always confidential. Please join hands if you wish. As we close this morning and this 3-week adventure on this blue boat that we call home, we have gone through different holy days, not co-opting them, but studying them, getting to know our neighbors. And when we do that, when we look into each other's eyes, the othering drops, and we can connect with one another. No matter what religion, no matter who you love or who you want to be, this is that safe space that you have built over time. And now, as we embark on a new year, we hope that you are ready to embark on this new year with more love and more empathy as a resistance to what is coming our way. We can do this, y'all. And now Najeeda will help us extinguish this chalice. We now extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go, and so we say together, Amen, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. Peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace, go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround